And here we go.
Hello everyone, it's me Arvind catching you on another Math Tutor Edu's lecture video. Okay, in this lecture video, we're going to enter a new subtopic within the quadratic functions, which is none other than the quadratic functions itself. Okay, in the first half of this chapter, we have already go through the quadratic equations. Okay, what is actually quadratic equations and what are the types of quadratic equations and how to find the roots. Okay, what are the methods? So we have already discussed all of them in the first half of this chapter. Okay, so in the second half we're going to go through in detail about the quadratic functions itself. Okay, so let us dive into our lecture video for today. Okay, so from here, before moving on into the quadratic functions, okay, let me just give you a quick recap of what is a quadratic equation. So given that, so 2x squared plus 5x plus 3 is equals to 0. Well, this is a quadratic equation. Okay, the difference between quadratic equation and a quadratic function, okay, it will be in this way, where okay, we're just going to write fx, okay, fx representing the function, okay, where your function is equals to 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. Okay, on the top it is a quadratic equation, whereas the bottom here it is mentioning the quadratic functions. Okay, so this is the obvious difference between the quadratic equation and the quadratic functions. Okay, these are the difference, guys. Okay, I hope you can get this clear. Okay, so this is the one we're going to discuss for this new subtopic. Okay, they are almost similar but they're not exactly the same. Okay, so this is just for an example. So in general, so we can write fx is equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so let me box this. Okay, so remember guys, I've told you in the first half of this chapter that you need to master the completing the square method, because completing the square method is very important, where you're going to use it in this new subtopic, which is the quadratic functions. Trust me, you're going to use it a lot in this subtopic. Okay, so if you manage to master it, okay, that is good because it's going to help you. But if you don't master it, okay, my suggestion to you is, okay, quickly go back the completing the square method and go through them. Okay, so from here, so this is the general form of the quadratic function. Okay, within this we are going to break down into a simplified version of this general form. Okay, in this case, so your fx can be written in this form, where it is become a in a bracket x minus p square plus with q. Okay, so this form will be achieved, okay, assuming that you have already completed all the working using the completing the square method, which we are going to go through shortly. Okay, and you come up with this general form. Okay, fx equals to a in a bracket x minus p square plus with q. Okay, what are these coefficients represent? Okay, I'm going to talk about it soon, so please stay with me in this lecture video. Okay, so from here let me explain one by one. So what are the functions representing? Okay, so this coefficient a, so let us start with the coefficient a, by the way. So this coefficient a is actually determining the shape of quadratic curve, or you can write quadratic graph also can. Okay, so this is the purpose of the coefficient a. This x minus p is representing the axis of symmetry. Okay, axis of symmetry basically is just a line which is split to area equally. Okay, that is called axis of symmetry. Okay, which this x minus p stands. Okay, this q will be the minimum value or maximum value, okay, depending on the coefficient of A. So how the coefficient of A is going to affect the value of Q, let me explain now. Okay, so if coefficient A more than 0, okay, you will be getting a minimum value, and if your value of A is less than 0, which means you have some negative value, okay, then you will get a maximum value, okay. And I've told you that the coefficient A also determine the shape of quadratic graph, right? Okay, so at the same time, if your coefficient A more than 0, you will have this type of shape, the smiling shape, whereas if A less than 0, you will have this sad shape, sad face. Okay, A more than 0, happy face. A less than 0, sad face. Okay, you will have the sad face kind of a quadratic graph. Okay, if A more than 0, smiling face kind of a quadratic graph. Okay, is that clear? Okay, so from here, so this is the quick summary of the function. Okay, what is quadratic functions? Okay, and these are some of the key terms that you need to know. So what are the purpose of the coefficient A, and what is this x minus p stands for, and what is this coefficient q stands for? Okay, if you take a look at some of the reference book, this p and q might be referred as h and k. It doesn't matter, okay, unless I mean, if the purpose is to fulfill this definition, then any variable it can be used. Okay, so from here, so we have already touched the early concept of the quadratic function. So let's take a look at one example. So let me read one example over here. So let me read it now. Okay, it will appear in the screen here, the questions. Let me read it now. Express the quadratic function f(x) equals to 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 in the form a in a bracket x minus h square plus k. As you can see here, the coefficient are different here. It is mentioning h and k, where a, h and k are constants. Hence state the maximum or minimum value of the functions and the corresponding value of x. Okay, so from here they already give us the quadratic function, and we are required to come up in this form. Okay, by the way, let me box this as well, because you're going to use a lot in this subtopic. Okay. Okay, so let us begin our exercise. Let me just write here example 1. Okay, so let me write the function is given by the question. So from here, f(x) is equals to 2x squared minus 3x minus 5. Okay, so from here, to solve this, we're going to use the completing the square method. Okay, whatever you learn in the first part of this chapter, we're going to apply over here. But in case if you forget it, don't worry, I'm going to help you solve together. Okay, so let us do it together. Okay, the first step, what you're going to do is, so we're going to make sure the coefficient of A equals to 1. Okay, we make the coefficient A equals to 1. So how are we going to do that? So we divide the whole equation by 2. So from here, f(x) is equals to 2 in a bracket. So whenever you do this, make sure you put a square bracket, guys. Okay, square bracket. Okay, and then from there, you make a curved bracket. Okay, then right here, x squared minus 3x minus 5 over 2 over 2. Okay, there is a reason why we are doing this, because once you've already done all the working, towards the end we're going to times back the 2 inside. Okay, so let me repeat again. we make the coefficient a equals to 1, so we divide the whole equation by 2, and that's how we get the x square minus 3 over 2x minus 5 over 2. Okay, continue. So from here, let us perform the completing the square. So the 2, okay, square bracket, and then we include a bracket here, so x square minus 3 over 2x, okay, plus with 3 over 2 divide with 2 square. Okay, so this will become 3 over 4. This coefficient you divide with 2 and then you square it. Okay, so it will become 3 over 4 square, okay, minus with 3 over 4 square minus with 5 over 2. Curve bracket, don't forget to put a square bracket as well. Okay, continue to the next step. So from here, fx equals to 2 square bracket, curve bracket, x square minus 3 over 2x plus 9 over 16 minus 9 over 16 minus 5 over 2. Close bracket, close bracket. Okay, up until now, I hope you guys are clear about this. Okay, so we have already squared this, okay, and from this step onwards, we're going to reduce this 3 form into a quadratic factor. Okay, and these two will be separated aside. Okay, where it will become fx is equals to 2, okay, in a bracket, x minus 3 over 4 square minus 9 over 16 minus with 40 over 16. So how you get this 40 over 16? Very simple. You times 8, you times 8. Okay, you make the denominator same. Okay, and that's how we get negative 40 over 16, guys. Okay, so proceed to the next step. So from here you get your fx is equals to 2, okay, square bracket, okay, and then from here you write is x minus 3 over 4 square minus with 49 over 16. Okay, like I said, there is a reason why we make a big square bracket, guys. Okay, because towards the end, these two we're going to times back into this whole quadratic function. Okay, for the final step, once you have already done everything, so these two we're going to times in back into the quadratic function. So from here you get your fx is equals to 2 in a bracket x minus 3 over 4 square minus 49 over 8. So this is your final answer. Okay, so from here we get to know that our fx is equals to 2 in the bracket x minus 3 over 4 square minus 49 over 8. Okay, and remember, the question asks us to mention the maximum or minimum value of the function and the corresponding value of x. So which means they ask us to find the value of minimum value or maximum value and then the value of x respectively. Okay, so from here, so what is the value of x? By the way, they're asking the axis of symmetry. So from here we know that our coefficient a is equals to 2. Okay, in this case they mentioned that the coefficient k is equals to negative 49 over 8. So this negative 49 over 8 is a minimum value or maximum value? It's a minimum value because your a value is more than 0 and therefore your k is equals to negative 49 over 8 is a minimum value. Okay, So from here, to find the axis of symmetry, very simple. X minus 3 over 4 equals to 0. So this equation we're going to bring over here. So from here you get your x is equals to 3 over 4. So this is your respective x value, or in this case we can write it as value of h. X equals to 3 over 4, therefore h is equals to 3 over 4. This is actually h. Okay, therefore this is actually h. Okay, so that is all. We have come to the end of the lecture video for today. So I hope you have understand the concept of the quadratic function. So if you like this video, make sure that you give a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for more upcoming AdMaths lecture videos in the future, and make sure that you share this video to your friends. Thank you everyone for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.
I'm out of here.